Hey Coyotes fans, it's Robyn Leano with Locked On Coyotes alongside my co-host Matthew Jacobson. We're right here, right outside the rink at Tucson Convention Center down here in Tucson, where the Arizona Coyotes took down the Anaheim Ducks 7-1. Matthew,
it wasn't quite as bad as the rivalry game last night, but it was still definitely a one-sided affair. You know, boys among men, NHL team versus the minor league team, or whatever other jokes we're gonna make. Even though it's weird, the Ducks had a good amount of their actual NHL players. The Ducks kind of confuse me. Like they're theoretically should be a solid enough team with decent, interesting pieces, and then they play like that. Like that was borderline ECHL hockey in some aspects.
I mean, we're seeing a team that again they had a lot of decent players out there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of ones that we all know about. We know about about Zegras and Drysdale.
Mm-hmm.
Like people you'd expect are going to play better, but this Anaheim team just looks how they did last year. They just were absolutely god awful. And we saw an Arizona Coyotes team that was, has gotten significantly better in just the last year.
Yeah, and it's just obviously the 1-year additions, but also just the kids that have been just developing over time. Like, Matias Michelli, Logan Cooley, the best prospect in the world, best prospect in hockey, and it's. Again, I don't want to take too much stock into preseason. I was getting a little excited. There was a really solid pass, I think it was by Liam O'Brien in the second to McBain, and I had to force my mouth shut because I made a little squeal. I made a little noise. But it's without taking too much of a preseason game, it looked so consistent and so much better and like an actual solid NHL product. And this team gives me some vibes when they were actually pushing for the playoffs around 2019 or so, where they actually had a team that was built to be better and be competitive. Not quite a playoff team yet, but I love those vibes and love how much they're developing, and it's really fun hockey to watch.
All right, how about the opportunity to finally see Logan Cooley in action in person?
Can I just talk about his professionalism? Obviously, again, preseason, it could just be, hey, take care of business, but he gave me Redeem Bravado vibes. That penalty shot, that was a great little move he had, but the thing that stuck out to me was he just skated away like, yeah, I've been here before. Yeah, I'll do this again. That's the exact same thing Redeem Bravado did. His mindset, obviously, was more so big goals. You'll see him get excited, but, hey, I've been here, I've done it before, I'll do it again, and that's what I want to see out of Logan Cooley, because it's a maturity as a 19-year-old kid. I remember when I was 19, I was an idiot. I'm almost 30 and I'm still an idiot. So that's a huge compliment to Logan Cooley and just how mature he is out there on the ice.
I also just love the, look at the joke that I made. Like Connor Bedard could never, right? Because Connor Bedard hasn't been able to get his, you saw what happened, just the other night with Connor Bedard and his,
the little blunder on the penalty shot.
He got tripped. He got tripped up by Marc-Andre Fleury. And yes, it is Marc-Andre Fleury. So it's a different, style. But let's relish in the fun.
But we are going to have some fun with it, because obviously Connor Bedard's a phenomenal prospect, but Cooley has looked better. So we're going to have some fun with it and compliment Cooley whenever we can. But it's just it is kind of funny that the only Bedard highlights I've seen so far on social media was, oh, look at this phenomenal move. He juked out a couple of defenders, didn't finish the job. Logan Cooley has finished the job on multiple occasions. This kid is electric.
You go back to the first preseason game in Australia where he does that spinorama. Like, we're consistently seeing good play from Logan Cooley, and I'm excited that we're just going to continue to see that.
We are, and look, again, without putting too much stock into it, the more I see him, the more 30 goals does not feel unreasonable. That does not mean I think that he will or should. That's his minimum. I'm just saying it feels less and less unreasonable to say he could hit
it seems 100% within reach.
Yeah.
It seems definitely within reach, and I think that's why fans should just be, they should be excited, but also remember it's a team that's just coming, just kind of like still building. I'm not saying coming out of a rebuild because they're not coming out yet, but they're...
Yeah, that's still a couple years away from that, but I think last year we saw them in the playoffs for 24 to 48 hours for literally no reason. This team, I love how they'll play above their heads so much. It just shows the character of the roster and the coaching staff, but I genuinely feel like they will be in a wild card spot for about a week to 2 weeks in the season, and it will be a lot more fun. They will technically be mathematically in the playoff race for longer, and it's going to equate to better products at the Mullet Arena, and it's just going to be fun hockey. They're not going to make the playoffs, but it's going to be such a really good season. You know what? If they do, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't expect it. I'm not predicting it, but I wouldn't be surprised if this maintains into the regular season. I love the improvements that they've made. They look like a complete team again. It's fun hockey. I know I'm gushing, but it's just fun hockey.
All right. Last thoughts. I want to get your thoughts on the experience of a game here in Tucson for, as media. I mean, you've come down here to Tucson Veterans games a couple times.
Yep.
But let's get it on record here in media, because to me, this was like classic Tucson, right? Because you had the mariachi out in the breezeway, and then they played the national anthem, and then this was a very Tucson vibe game. Made me feel at home. But how did it overall feel for?
It kind of feels comfortable as someone who works at Mullet, so I'm used to the smaller rinks, even though this is about double the size seat-wise. But it's kind of that more intimate environment that was a little more full tonight than usual. When Tucson's doing really well, you see the place full. But on regular games, it's a little lighter. But for the Coyotes being here, there's a lot of excitement. People were actually optimistic and not just, well, I'm here because it's the Coyotes, I guess. So it was a fun environment. Not quite as exciting as Josh Doan's first game last year. But that was also because he had the hype of the prodigal son returning. But
right.
Logan Cooley with that penalty shot goal, everyone was pretty excitable at that one.
That's fair enough. Anything else you want to share about this game that I'm not asking?
I just want to compliment Liam O'Brien, actually. Liam O'Brien is a player that I've always seen as like a worse biz, but and without giving too much details, I've seen him working behind the scenes on his stick handling. He actually looks like a better overall player, and while you're still seeing a couple of the bad penalties, it doesn't feel like he is going to be a liability on the ice, meaning even the guys that theoretically are throwaways, depending on how you see it, are becoming better players in this system, in this locker room. It's just a lot of compliments to the work that everyone involved has been doing, and I just wanted to go ahead and just give a compliment to someone that I don't typically compliment. I want to be fair.
There we go. Well, that's going to be it for our just rapid react on this game, as once again, Arizona Coyotes take down the Anaheim Ducks 7-1. Be sure to catch our full coverage. We're going to have some of the sound bites from post game up on our next episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. You'll be able to get that first thing Monday morning. Once again, we're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.